So we've got some FM26 news, and this time it is tactics. There's a trailer that's just popped up on Twitter. We're going to start off with that, and then we'll get into the details. There's a blog and everything. As always, this is the trailer. FM26. This isn't like a horizontal one, a vertical one, which is normal. In possession and out of possession. Confirmed. There we go. That's what we've been waiting for. No voiceover on this one, which is interesting. Those look like Pokeballs around the player. What the hell? Why is it like a... What's this? Oh, it's like a... Is that saying where they're going? What are these little round markers next to the players? They have their star ratings underneath. So we have in and out possession. Redefine. Okay, there's just as redefined player roles. Clearer instructions. Okay, great. And also smarter AI. Interesting. So the tactical AI has been tweaked. That's everything. Is that everything? That's everything on there. Let's have a look. So this is on the blog. In possession, out of possession. This is. Let's say overdue. I don't know. Is it overdue? I think this is the evolution that they need, though. This is the change they need to Football Manager, to how it works, to reflect how real life football tactics work now. In recent years, the language of football tactics has evolved dramatically. Managers, pundits, and fans alike now dive deeper into analysis with sharper insight into complex ideas like pressing triggers and rest defense. One concept that's rapidly entered the mainstream is the distinction between in possession and out of possession formations. The way a team changes shape based on whether they have the ball or not. So, is this a longer video? Oh, we have a longer video. Oh, it's Jack! It's Jack the Cult of. Let's watch the longer video. Hello, Jack. If you don't know Jack, he has a YouTube channel. Jack, it's the Cult of. Here he is. He's talking. I know he's behind a lot of this stuff. In Football Manager, so obviously
we now have the two formations that we're going to put into the game, and you have a in possession screen and out of possession screen, so you can see how your formation looks in one area of the game and then how it looks in the other, because now you have control over both.
In and out of possession tactics are here.
So let's see if we can get something. So what do we have? This is like the screenshots. I'm sure they'll give these to us afterwards, but this is sort of how it looks. I like these like big buttons here.
Out of possession tactics are here. In FM26, you've got more flexibility than ever before. I am absolutely hyped. I'm guessing you're as excited as I am.
Absolutely. Couldn't be more excited about this feature. Most importantly, it's funny seeing Jack like for a number of years. I'm so delighted to have this feature in the game this year.
I think me and the FM community and all the new players will be thinking, how does this come to life?
Well, we now have the two formations that we're going to put into the game, and you have a in possession screen and out of possession screen, so you can see how your formation looks in one area of the game. And
so we have an in possession and an out of possession. So you can see you go to it's a 4-1-2-2-1 or 4-1-2-3, and it drops back to a 4-1-4-1. So Doku and Foden drop a long way back. Also that their star ratings change. Like Doku and Foden, obviously no good like on the defensive side of it, but if you want them there, you put them there.
How it looks in the other, because now you have control over both.
Why was this such an important feature to actually bring in?
I think there's two answers to that. I think the first thing is, we look at real football. If people want to recreate their real life managers and create their tactics, you need to have that in possession, out of possession split to correctly, replicate what they're doing. And I think the second part is a more practical part, where, for example, in FM24, if you created a tactic and you had like a winger in a 4-3-3 and you wanted to move him to attacking midfield for an in-possession reason, you couldn't do that without affecting how we defended. Whereas now, with our in-possession and out-of-possession formations, you can make that change for an in-possession reason.
So your tweaks only affect which side of the game is currently happening, which is how is how it would happen in football, and it gives you a little more flexibility about how the player acts. Obviously they're still independent footballers; they make their decisions, but it's good.
Without it affecting out of possession.
That makes me think. Player roles are going to change too.
Completely changed. Player roles are now split between in possession and out of possession. For our in possession
we have two sets of player roles for every player. Okay, so this is Phil Foden's out of possession role. So he has a splitting outlet attacking midfielder, a central outlet attacking midfielder, a tracking attacking midfielder, and attacking midfielder. And I guess that depends a little bit on his positioning, because in these ones he's got advanced playmaker, free role, attacking midfielder, channel midfielder, second striker.
In possession formations, we have some new roles and some roles that have been reworked, and then for out possession we have a completely new set of roles. One of the biggest things for me is you can have two identical formations in possession for two different teams, but the roles and how they behave out of possession will make it behave differently.
How does that differ then between the two?
So if you have an example of a top team, you're the favourite to win the game, and you're playing a 4-3-3, and you have an advanced playmaker, you might want them to be a presser out of possession, win the ball high, try and get final third, turnovers. Whereas if you're an underdog team and you're playing a 4-3-3,
this is good. Like, I think the example I gave on the FM show, and we will have an FM show episode on this later tonight. It'll be out tomorrow. The example I gave on the FM show the other week is, if I choose a player to be a target man, that's like how I want the game to react to him when we have the possession. I want the players to target him as the focal point of the attack. But when he's out of possession, when we're out of possession, there's no like set instruction in that role for what I want him to do. Do I want him to press? Where's a pressing forward? That is what it's telling to do. Like in FM24, there's a role of pressing forward, and that's telling him to go forward and press the opposition when we lose the ball and not act like a target man. So the fact that now you could actually have the two, you could have a target man who's pressing when we haven't got the ball, and he's this focal point of the attacks when we have got the ball.
Out of possession, you might want to have an advanced playmaker in possession when you got the ball, but out of possession, have them as a screener to maybe sit in a low block. And
good example. Yeah, also, so he's making the example of in the midfield. A good example of that might be like a defensive playmaker, a deep line playmaker who you're giving playmakers an instruction when you've got the ball and you're going forwards, whereas like an anchor or a ball-winning midfielder, that's an instruction when we haven't got the ball. And actually, well, why can't I have a ball-winning midfielder, and when he's won the ball, he acts a bit more like a playmaker? There is small things, but it's like, these players are a lot more versatile, and we can have them play these multiple roles, whether they're in possession or out of possession.
Cover the dangerous areas of space.
So both phases in mind, then, how are you able to actually see the team shape?
So what we've introduced this year is something called the visualizer. And what that is for in possession and out of possession for both of them. And it will show you how your formation is looking in each phase of the game. So it will show you in your own third.
That's really cool. I've really wanted this for a long time, or something similar to this that sort of shows what's happening, where the ball is, contextual to where the ball is. So if the ball is that point of the pitch, where the players are. So if he's saying if the ball is there, this is where your players are gonna go. Like, this is the formation they're gonna be in, whether you got the ball or not as well. So I like that. So that's contextual to where the ball is. Because otherwise, at the minute, it's just like very static and you're sort of guessing. Like, let's say you've got your winger, but he's an inside forward. You're sort of imagining that he drifts inside, right? But if you do it on this now, I assume if you chose up here, like we got the ball here, it's going to show, when the ball's further back, it's going to show him here. And when we've got the ball, it's going to show him here.
In the middle third and in the final third. And it will show you how, for example, the roles are combined in possession. It was going to show you how they're going to look in each section. And it shows you a very clear way of how your team is going to look based on what you've created in your tactics creator.
That's really cool.
In possession, we've got out of possession, we've got transitions. I'm guessing that's going to have a change as well. Attacking
transition and defensive transition, they've moved into their respective areas. So attacking transition is in possession, defensive transition now sits in out of possession. So they're not gone, they've just been moved.
So I'm picking up FM for the first time. I'm hyped, obviously, just picked it up, but I'm thinking, how accessible are these tactical changes for me?
So one of the biggest things as a team when designing the feature was to make it accessible for someone first time looking at a tactics board, first time playing the game, but also someone that's a tactical expert that already knows what their in possession and out of possession formations are going to be.
Are there any tools available for that?
Yeah, so you can pick your team in possession, and then your assistant will help you pick your out of possession formation, and they'll also suggest some roles that you can have out of possessions.
All of that information on board.
That was like, so that was, if I go back, sorry, that's quite a lot of information. It'll say like, if we do this, we're going to get this kind of feedback. These kind of things are these are like the instructions, but this is like, okay, pros and cons to it. I think that's kind of useful.
You can have out of possessions.
All of that information on board, the hype is building, the excitement's building. What does that mean for FM players this year?
I think it can mean whatever you'd like it to mean, really. If you want to keep it relatively simple and use your assistant and use the recommended formations they use and use the visualizer and things like that, you can keep it pretty simple if you'd like to. However, if you'd like to go and be very in-depth, you can use the whole aspect of the two formations, all of the team instructions, in-game. If you want to make a change, every time you see something go wrong with your defenders, you want to change a formation or change maybe just the player role. You can do all of these things now,
you ever see his
which you couldn't do before.
There we go. So that's FM26. That's really cool, right? Let's have a quick look, see if there's anything else in the blog. I think it's probably going to be showing us the same things we saw. So we've got our suggested tactics still. We've got our in and out possession. So this is like the, let's say the presets. A clearer picture. A redesigned tactics menu. Where does this take me? Just take me to the... Oh, that takes me to the discussion we had before. So the screen we had before. Interesting how they've like been trying to hide the in and out possession stuff. Oh, there was also a combined and a both screen. Okay, I don't know quite where we sit with the combined. Shows the average position of your players between the two. But what does both? The both view allows you your team shape side by... Oh, okay, right. It's gonna give you like a two of them at once. Combined sort of shows an in between. Okay, like an average. That's okay. That's pretty cool. So then we have the visualizer. So we have things like passing directness, tempo, time wasting, attacking transition. These are all the things we have right now, actually. And we have an overview on the right here. That's kind of useful. And then we have like the data hub on the right here. And I assume that's going to be one of these tiles and cards. You click into it and it's going to pop out or whatever if you want more data. But that actually, like, the fact that you've got that there while you're deciding your tactic, kind of nice. The opposition team report as well, kind of nice, although there isn't one there. I mean, there is the risk of like, that's a lot of information for a new user. I really like this, like is this the positioning thing? The visualizer, yeah, through each phase. So that's when we're in possession and we got the ball there, where the players are going to sit. You know, the centre back's going to pull back for the goalkeeper. These guys are going to split out wide. And as the ball moves up, okay, yeah, you can see Nico Riley has moved inside. Nico O'Reilly has moved inside. Is it Nico? It is, isn't it? Rico Lewis has gone out to the right. Rodri has stayed sat. Foden and Nunes are forward. Savinho and Silva have gone way up the wings. And Haaland's sort of sitting there, because I assume that's like an offside line that they're sitting at there. And then same works for out of possession. Okay, so if we are out of possession, you're going to see in this example, they've all gone very compact. And Rutter is just like sat as sort of like an outlet for the team. And this is also, yeah, they're very compact. The wings are very narrow there. But I guess that's like, yeah. So is this in between? Okay. So there are new player roles. To provide a better and more accurate model understanding how these roles perform, we reviewed our entire list of in-possession roles. Goodbye to Mezzala and Gonch and Trequartista. Oh, no. They're like the interest. I mean, I don't know if anyone... I used the Mezzala, actually. Did I use an Ngonch Trequartista? I use a Trequartista, rarely an Ngonch. But it's like, okay, these are a bit more like self-explanatory as to what they do. Overlaps, ball plays, playmaking, advance, midfield, wide forward, channel foot. So it's like, okay, simplifying the terms. But you could still make a player one of these roles just by using these terms and then giving them instructions, or in some of these cases, you know, a wide central midfielder, I guess, is the Mezzala, right? Or something like that. In possession roles, define how your players move and position themselves as play develops. Their positional familiarity and their key attributes for the role. Okay. So that's why we saw Foden earlier and Jeremy Doku with like a low system. 5-star system with ratings built directly into player reports. These out of possession roles define how your players slot into a high press, settle into a low block, or anything in between. Oh, that's cool. So it's going to be contextual to what kind of role they are in. These roles seamlessly link into players like training and transfers. Oh yeah, it's going to be really useful. It's going to like so in terms of gameplay, this is the biggest game changer. I mean, we've all been sat on gegenpresses and 4-3-3s and 4-2-4s for like years in Football Manager now and attacking football, and I think this changes that. Maybe a gegenpress will still. I mean, gegenpresses are pretty powerful in real football, but I think this is going to be interesting. Match day intelligence upgrade. Okay, they didn't really talk about this bit. So as mentioned in our match experience feature blog, FM26 features a rewritten pass risk assessment system. Judge danger of a potential pass based on their attributes. So they're going to make more incisive passes through the middle. That'll be good. Is this a video? No. So that'll be good. Or maybe that'll be good. Maybe that'll be awful for like the defenders. They'll also show greater creativity when trying to bypass defenders, sliding passes around them or lifting the ball delicately over an outstretched leg to avoid interceptions. Okay, yeah. That'll be cool, like a little bit of contextual to what the other player is doing. I also saw the holding up. Passing patterns that feel sharper, smarter, and more varied. Dribblings also stand up their marker, bait them into a challenge, burst past them at the right time. I am worried that these are all attacking ones, and that we might end up with very good attackers. Okay, defense is coming. A new wave of attacking upgrades. Midfielders now time half-space runs more intelligently to support wide players. Okay, good. So, yeah, they've improved the decision-making of all their players. Pass to feet. That's good, actually. That's something that... It's weird that that's never been in there before, because that's fundamental basics of football tactics. Like, do we play in the air or do we pass along the floor? There was pass into space, but never pass to feet. And I get... Is pass to feet... is pass to feet relative to the height of the ball, or is it relative to space? If it was the space one, that was already there. If it's the height one, then it's like, you know, do we play air balls or do we play balls on the ground? Weird, actually, that's there for the crossing, but it's not there for the other stuff necessarily. Pass to feet's already there if it's just passing to them rather than passing into space. Am I wrong? Defensively, the improvements run just as deep. Team structures and pressing shapes have been refined. Interception logic's been worked so defenders can stretch, lunge, and improve. We saw that in the trailers. That's something I picked up on that I thought was really cool. Goalkeepers, meanwhile, feel more dependable than ever. They haven't looked so dependable in those trailers, but I think it's because they've been showing the goals. This is the start. FM26 Match AI is packed with enhancements you'll only appreciate once you're in the dugout, watching your vision come to life. This screenshot looks great, by the way. This is really nice Premier League screenshot. There's more. Team instructions revamped. Our display of team instructions. This is quite a... These are very large boxes compared to the little toggles that we had before. What's changed in that regard? I guess the players were shown on the right before, right? It kept the players on the right-hand side. Direct link to the data hub. That's what we talked about in the video. I think that's good. The most ambitious tactical innovation in years, transforming the way you set up your team and mirror how top managers approach the game. With dual formations, redesigned, and player roles and powerful new visual tools at your fingertips, you now see exactly how your team shapes up. I think that's really cool. I think this is going to absolutely change how we play. I mean, and we're saying this here now. I might start doing tactic stuff on the channel because this resets the base of what understanding of Football Manager tactics. We'll see how the game goes. We'll see how the game plays at launch. I think maybe some basics of tactics. I know a lot of other people already do tactics, but the flexibility and like the reason I've never really done tactics before is because the most effective tactics are all very similar. It's just micro tweaking 4-3-3s. Where with this, you can do some really interesting stuff and start to replicate real teams much more easily and much more interestingly. And I think you could be like, okay, I'm going to build out Frank Lampard's Coventry system, which is working really well at the minute. Like, that could be a really cool thing to have a play around in the game. I'm looking forward to this. I want to know. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If this has got you excited and you want to pre-order, I've got a Fanatical link. Use it down in the description below. You'll get a whole load off the Steam price. I think it's about 5-6 quid off the Steam early access price, which is already 5 quid cheaper than the release price. I will say, you know, wait maybe a little bit and see what else is coming. You don't have to pre-order. But if you are going to pre-order, you're going to play it anyway. Please use that. It supports me. It doesn't cost you anything extra. You're going to get it under 40 quid. You're going to get the early access to the game as well when the early access drops, which I imagine we're about 3 weeks away now. If you want to see the other stuff that they have also announced, make sure you go check out these videos here. There's a whole playlist of FM26 stuff. Go check them out, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao, ciao.